Hello everyone, I'm Professor Midnight, and today we will learn about color psychology with the help of one of our favorite sagas. All the colors inevitably communicate messages, and this happens because people unconsciously associate different emotions and perceptions to each one of the tones in the visible spectrum. The theory that studies this is not only fascinating to learn, but also has multiple practical uses, among which stands out showing or emphasizing character traits in movies. Star Wars isn't the exception, since the color used by the SITH, the Jedi, and even some Mandalorian in their outfits and weapons not only harmonize wonderfully with their personality, but also with their relationship to the Force. Let's start with the clothes. Both Jedi's and Sith's garments are robes that are elegant but practical for combat. But beyond the fact that they look beautiful in battle, it's notable how they reflect the lifestyle and personality traits from both extremes of the Force according to their philosophy. The Jedi have outfits in brown and beige. This last one is a simple and unpretentious color, which makes it be perceived as trustworthy, relaxing, neutral, conservative and flexible. Beige combines the freshness of white with the warmth of brown, which we will talk about now. Besides warm, brown is perceived as traditional and gregarious, which means inclined to form groups or associations. We know that Jedi code discourages or even forbids marriage and love relationships, with exceptions like Yarimundo. Nevertheless, their general manners are kind and stimulate others to open up to them, and this is what shows their warmth, in contrast to how rigid and conservative they can be when it comes to politics or to their council, which is their most representative association, where all members must stick to the decisions made there. On the other side, since brown color is associated to soil and fertility, it gives a sensation of stability, combating insecurities and anguish. Same reasons why, during war times, many diplomatics like Padme and Leia go to the Jedi for support. Yeah, well, and also because they control the use of the Force, of course. Surely, not everything can be perfect, and the colors that Jedi choose for their clothes also reflect their flaws, like their little inclination to risk-taking, which frequently drives them to put even more at stake, and also their narrow sight. This lack of vision is precisely what makes them, among other things, misread the prophecy of the Chosen One, thinking that he will balance the Force by helping the Jedi triumph over the Sith, when in fact, balance requires the dark side to exist as well. Moreover, both brown and beige are perceived as boring and frugal, partly because they are associated with repressing emotions, which is more noticeable in the Jedi, who discourage both love and hate due to the feelings they can lead to: jealousy, attachment, fear to lose the person, thirst for revenge, all of them being emotions that due to their intensity can cloud the judgment of the users of the light side of the Force. Of course, theoretically this can make sense, but practically speaking, their to some extent unnatural lifestyle, repressing both their positive and negative feelings, is one of the things that makes them more vulnerable to corrupt and turn to the dark side. By the way, did I mention that brown is also related to bureaucracy and therefore to corruption? The Sith wear garments in full black color, which, chromatically speaking, means the complete absence of light, same as the side of the Force they use. Besides darkness, this color projects sophistication and elegance, traits that we can see particularly in Count Dooku, not only for his diplomacy, but also in his combat style, which is very similar to fencing. Furthermore, black is associated to strength and power, that are some of the primordial objectives when learning the manners of the dark side of the Force. This color also communicates authority, which Darth Sidious and Darth Vader show very often in very sharp ways with the staff of the Death Star. Nevertheless, in the prequels, when incarnating his alter ego, Palpatine, Sidious continues to communicate authority, but this time not by being intimidating, but by being formal, and again, elegant. Finally, we can't forget a very characteristic aspect of black, its sensuality, linked to the fact that it denotes danger. There goes the reason why it's preferred for lingerie. And this is one of the most dangerous attributes from the dark side. It's completely seductive. And no, I don't say it due to the attractiveness of almost all the Sith. Well, okay, maybe a little, but not only that. It's precisely due to its magnetic and alluring qualities that many Jedi had turned to the side, and many other Sith didn't even pass through the light side at all. Did you know that black, in combination with red and yellow, form the chromatic chord of hate? What character does that remind you of? Of course, the dark side of the Force can't only have pretty stuff, and now we will see how the color of their clothes reflect the attributes the Sith explode the most. Black is a color that is perceived as emotionally distant and imposing. And well, I don't know about you, but I can't imagine myself crying my sorrows to Darth Maul or defying Darth Sidious. Besides, it is related to grief, pain, fear, anger, and also depression and death. All of them being things that the Sith indispensably need to experience to grow stronger with the dark side. Let's not forget that Darth Maul, even after he stopped being Sith and became only Maul, was kept alive by his hate to the Jedi, particularly Obi-Wan, while Darth Vader was kept alive and strong due to his hate to himself. Finally, black color is linked to revelry and the breaking of canons and taboos, which is very clearly demonstrated in the Sith Code that is practically the antithesis of the Jedi Code. If we think of it, it's pretty ironic that the Sith, in spite of being advantaged in number by the Jedi, managed to overtake them during the Imperial era. But partly, it could be due to the fact that they explode both the negative and positive aspects of their decisions and lifestyle. And what about Mandalorians? We know that as long as they wear the characteristic elements of their helmets and armors, like the T-shaped mask, Mandalorians can personalize their outfits as they like, modifying the armament or the material, or also by integrating accessories like horns on the helmet or a cape covering their armor. Colors aren't the exception, since they can add any tone of the visible spectrum depending on various factors. While it's true that in many occasions Mandalorians choose the color of their outfits basing simply in the colors they like, in other cases, these warriors decorate their armor to reflect personal accomplishments or their affiliation to a clan. Actually, usually they repaint it when their rank inside the clan has changed. Furthermore, they are also known for choosing the colors that, among their race, traditionally represent specific causes which the user may be committed to. Some examples of what each color represents are the following. Gray, the duel of losing a loved one. Red, honoring their mother and or father. Black, justice. Gold, revenge. Blue, reliability. Orange, desire to live. And white, a new beginning. Until now, we can see that the accent colors we see in The Mandalorian are related, among other factors, to their own color psychology. But, due to the metallic tone of most common prime matters, which are Beskar and Mandalorian iron, there is a color that is a constant in all the armors, whether it is the predominant color or complementing another one, and this is silver. This metallic color is associated with speed, practicality, movement, and dynamism, all of them indispensable characteristics to be a warrior of this race. Additionally, it's related to technology, luxury, and modernity, which are reflected in the fact that the Mandalorians constantly upgrade their weapons, helmets, and armors with new accessories or recoating them with stronger metals, which clearly doesn't come cheap. On the other side, silver is considered distant and cold, precisely like these warriors behave with their enemies, or if they are bounty hunters, with their targets. Actually, almost with everyone. Well, except with Baby Yoda. But he doesn't count. No one could be called to that cute. Finally, this color is also linked to greed and materialism, which coincides with the economic motives of many of the Mandalorians, among their desire to constantly improve their armor to keep it at the vanguard of technology. Of course, it's unlikely that George Lucas or his team thought the design of their characters basing integrally in color psychology, but still, finding all these coincidences is not only very interesting, but also shows that psychological effects of colors are such an intrinsic aspect of them that even their use to communicate emotions, qualities, or messages in different disciplines is practically instinctive. Maybe in LucasArts, they don't know all the specific connotations, for example, of black, but there is a reason why the majority of people there considered it adequate to dress the SITH. As you can see, in spite of being complex and wide, it's easy to learn the essential aspects of color psychology in fun ways that are related to those contents we enjoy the most. This is only one of the first videos where we will use the coincidences in movies, series, video games, and everything you can imagine, or of course, suggest me in the comments, to understand better this fascinating topic. Professor Midnight loves you and hopes to see you next time. Don't forget to subscribe and click the bell. May the Force be with you and serve you well. Class is dismissed.